Hello everyone, so we've talked about this before, about the homeless numbers increasing in Cavan. Particularly, it's very worrying, particularly the amount of people, particularly young people, especially in their 20s and their 30s, have nowhere to go. And of course, the county council don't care, and the people in the county council, the majority of the high up civils don't care, and the majority of the TDs don't care, and the majority of the councillors don't care. And basically, they just simply don't care, they couldn't give a damn. And this is a perfect example of a civil servant in Cavan. A lot of them shouldn't be in their job in the county council. A lot of the higher ups, not so much the people at the lower level, is the people at the higher ups. I don't know what's the problem with them, but a lot of them have a queer attitude, and there's something very, very wrong with them because they have a queer attitude. They shouldn't have an attitude, as we see here. And this is a great organisation in Cavan. I just want to give credit to them because all the councillors and TDs should be saying this. None of them are anywhere to be found saying this, because only for these people, this man, thankfully, he got a place. We will talk about that at the end of it, but he got a place for the weekend. But who knows? As it says here, we're waiting till Monday. But pretty much, this was a man in Kingscourt that had a tent, and as you know, the last few days have been very cold and very wet. And of course, he's Irish. Let's be honest, he is Irish. And if this was a foreign national, and I hate to bring race and stuff into it, but it's the truth. It simply is the truth. OT would have been down, Forge Media would have been down, the whole media would be up in arms if this was a Nigerian and anybody else. But this is an Irish fellow, so the media don't care, and the county council, the state doesn't care. Because let's be fair, if this was a refugee, the country would go into a civil war over it. And that's a simple, and I hate to say it, but it's the simple truth. Let's be fair, we have to say the truth when it happens. But it's disgraceful in Cavan that there's no place at all for anybody to go. And I've heard this many, many times, particularly people who are fleeing from violence. I've heard of many women that were abused by their husbands look for a place to try and get somewhere just for a few nights so they can organise something. And there was nowhere for them to go. They had to often go to friends' houses, etc., and sleep on their couches and stuff. The county council had nowhere to put them. But we can easily house loads of refugees and stuff in iPass centres in Cavan. We can easily do that. That's done very quickly. There's a magic wand found very quickly in Cavan for that, for some reason. So what are the county council's priorities? I would love to know that, because it's not priorities of the Irish people, it's priorities of other people, it seems to be. And obviously people from Cavan should come first, as simple as that. And if that's far-right extremism, so be it, because that's simply the fact of the matter. That's what we're here to do in Cavan. We're here to look after our own people first, and the Irish people first. But as it says here, even the Simon community, the other homeless place in Dundalk, a special organisation up there, it's full. There's no place. And, it's a disgrace. And that's, as it says here, she, rang up the county council in Cavan. And of course, he says that it could take 10 to 12 weeks before he'd be seen to, basically. And as she said, Sean asked me to give the man his number, basically. And as she said, if he's still alive by then, because basically what Sean is suggesting here on the county council is just that he lie in a tent and die if necessary, because they don't want to deal with him. It's not like, this was Friday. You think he would say, I deal with it now, I'm being paid to be here at the moment. You think he would have dealt with it now. But he said, no, wait until Monday, he can die over the weekend for a week here. And that's pretty much what was said here in the nice way, that you can die. And this is the attitude I often hear from people in the higher levels of the council and stuff like that. They have no respect, first of all, to anybody. They seem to have no empathy for anybody too. They seem to have no remorse, because this is pretty much what they're saying. Let him lie in the street, pretty much. That's the nicest way what he's saying here. And it's disgraceful. And these county councillors too, again, the majority, this civil servant as we talk about, and then other civil servants that are higher up in the council, they have more power than the county councillors. What is the story about that? If you ring up your county council, I often had to ring over different things. And the county councillor says I have to go and ask these people, these civil servants, that are unelected, only for I know who they are. Other people wouldn't know who they are. These are people that are anonymous, that are not elected, they're selected. And this is the thing, and this is the sad part of it. It shouldn't be this way, and it's rightly so. It shouldn't be this way in Cavan. We're one of the richest countries in the world. And people in Cavan pay enough tax to the county council, pay enough tax to the politicians. And I suggest, and this should have been done anyway long ago, with the situation comes to homelessness, etc., increasing in Cavan, I think it's necessary that the county councillors have their money slashed. Because the only reason why the councillors should be getting expenses as allowances is when things are good in the county, when people are happy and people are looked after. At the moment in time, and I say this to my Chockty Dollars too in Cavan, Brendan Smith, Neil Smith, Cathy Barrett, and and the rest of the senators, they should be taking pay cuts. They really, really should be, because this is not good enough. They're getting full pay and full allowances, and this is a disgrace. This is happening in Cavan, and I hear none of them. Where are the ministers? Where is Northern Sound? Where's the Anglo South? Are they all off for the week? because they're nowhere to be found in this situation. They're nowhere to be found. Like, there should be unrelenting pressure on these people to move themselves on a bit, because they're getting well paid. They won't, believe me, they won't go and lie in the street. They won't lie in the tent. None of them are offering to give up their house. They're on big salaries, hundreds of thousands a year in the case of TDs. And, a lot of money in the case of councillors too, hundreds of thousands too. And, of course, we have a junior minister too that's on hundreds of thousands, is off around the country and around the world on a private jet. But this is a disgrace. It is really, really a disgrace. And it's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. And people are too afraid to say that. But it's not good enough. And I say this, Red, it's not good enough. And we should do more. And we should do more as people, Cavan. We should do more to make them do it, because they won't voluntarily do it, these civil servants. We have to make them do it. And that's as simple as that. But I want to just give an update, which is, I suppose, at the end of it all, at least something happened. But again, there's no tax to the county council, and there's no tax to the people in the homeless department of the council and stuff, because they basically said let them wait till Monday. And as this person rightly says, here we go again on Monday. It's going to be the same fucking yap and bullshit that you're going to have to listen to. Because let's be fair, it will be the same yap and bullshit. Because I've had to put up with these things before, like this from the council. Oh, leave it to next week, we'll deal with it the next week. And then the same fucking, the wing goes around. It's just fucking endless cycle of bullshit and fucking confuckery. And that's to be generally honest with you. But Cavan County Council does not care. It's simple as that, does not care, because you think they would be doing everything to try and get something, but they don't care. Simple as that. And this person rightly says it's simply not good enough, and it's simply not good enough. It isn't good enough, because as I said, and I hate to bring in people's identity and stuff, but it is the simple truth. If this fellow was from Afghanistan or Timbuktu, the county council would be all over him. All the councillors would be on the radio saying how terrible. We have the OTE down saying how awful Cavan people are, how racist they are, how this they are, and how the other thing they are. And we would have the whole media in the whole country up in arms, and we would have the emergency session of the all over it. But again, this is an Irish person, so they don't care. It's simple that they simply don't care. And as the person says rightly so in Kingscourt in this area, there's no Garda station now. There's no full-time Garda station. At least if the Garda station was open, the Gardaí, in fairness, would probably let him stay in the Garda station. In fairness, it's not that big of a Garda station, but they probably would have let him stay there for the weekend. But technically, he did get something, but it's only for the weekend. It's not forever. And A&E won't keep anybody in Cavan. They're struggling as it is. And all the B&Bs in Kingscourt are all basically using refugees, and there's no really hotels to put them, but it's absolutely ridiculous. But what I suggest, and I say this to the councillors, and I suggest this very seriously, without cotton, that we would use the council chamber. We would let them sleep in the council chamber, and the councillors can deal with that, because I generally think that should be the thing. We should put them into the council chamber, because let's be fair, we should put them into the council chamber and into the courthouse and stuff, and let the councillors see that, because they would have to go in and out to the courthouse and stuff, and let them see what they're causing in this county, because that's, I think, the only way to really show it, because it really hit home for a lot of people in Cavan when you see that, because that's what I suggest. And if I was a councillor, that's what I'd be saying that should happen, just to simply show up the councillors and simply show up the TDs, because it would look very bad in the newspapers, and it would shame them, and that's what I'm about to do, shame them into doing something. It would absolutely shame the county council into the ground. It really would shame them, because that picture alone would tell a story. And that's what I suggest, that we use the council chamber. That's as simple as that. We use the council chamber, or we go into the Fianna Fáil office in the town, or the Fine Gael office, or the Sinn Féin office, and we put them into the Sinn Féin office or the Fine Gael office, and let them sleep in Fine Gael's office and stuff. That's what probably should happen. You take Fianna Fáil, where is Niamh Smith? Where is our councillors, Fianna Fáil councillors? Where are the Sinn Féin councillors? There's not many of them, but where are they? You think they would say, yeah, we open up the Sinn Féin office and let you sleep in the Sinn Féin office. We get sleeping bags, or we get mattresses and stuff. That's what they should be doing. And another thing too, the Catholic Church, the Bishop of Kilmore, Martin, Bishop Hayes, Bishop Hayes. Where is he? Is he asleep? The parish, the diocese of Kilmore owns a lot of houses, owns a local parochial houses. Are the priests afraid to let anybody into the parochial houses? Where is the Catholic Church? Is the Bishop of Kilmore? I know he's a bit of a dunce, to be generally honest with you. We've seen with Eli Buck's mother. He's afraid to say anything, it seems to be. He's not following the words of Jesus Christ. He's not following the words of the Catholic faith. And he seems to be somebody that's afraid to say anything. And as simple as that, and I say this to you, Bishop, and I mean no disrespect to you, but the church should be doing more for the people of Cavan. They should be. Like, you can do up the cathedral, you can spend millions, on doing up the cathedral, and of course it's great to see, of course, but still at the same time there's no money being given back to the people. Like, the church is there to help the people. of Cavan, but there's no such thing. I see nothing from the church. I see nothing as a Catholic, as somebody who often gives money to the church and stuff. I see nothing. I see them doing nothing. What are you doing? Simple as that. They should be doing at least giving food out to the homeless, etc. But they seem to be too busy in the big swanky cars, etc., going around the country. That seems to be why, because Bishop Hayes, he's no poor pocket. He's getting paid to be there. But this is the thing. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the whole establishment in Cavan. And I say this honestly to the people of Cavan. We need radical change. This kind of bullshit and confuckery is not going to change overnight. It'll take years to change this confuckery. But we need civil servants that don't care about money. And that's as simple as that. That's who we need. Because these people are too obsessed with money and stuff. And that's the problem in this county. And there's too many councillors too. And they're too afraid. And that's the simple fact. They're too afraid to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done in Cavan. And that's as simple as that. And I say that straight honestly to people. And I generally believe that. I've seen it myself many, many times over. But this country is in hell. Like, let's be fair. This county has gone to hell. And we have to bring it back from hell. And that's as simple as that. And I say to the people of Cavan not to be afraid. Speak up. Use your voice. Because it's our children who are suffering. It's not us. We are suffering, of course. But our children will suffer the most. If this is happening now, what's it going to be like in 30 years? What's it going to be like in 50 years? What's it going to be like in 70 years? I dread the take. Because I'll be long dead and gone by that time. But I dread the take what, God forbid, my children, my grandchildren could have to put up with. Because if we're putting up with this, what would they put up with? And that's what I say to the people. And I say to people, don't be afraid to speak out. Call out this bullshit. Because this is what it is. It's a national disgrace. It's a disgrace in our county that this is happening in our county in 2026. It's a disgrace. It's a long disgrace. Because there's so much money and it's being spent on fucking useless shit that should be spent on looking after these people. But it won't. They're too busy fucking worrying about bicycle sheds and bicycle lanes. They have hundreds of thousands spent on bicycle lanes around Cavan. And it's utterly ridiculous. Nobody's ever on the fucking bicycle lanes. And if they use that money to look after these people, we would be golden. We wouldn't have to worry. But they're spending on bicycle lanes. It's utterly ridiculous, if you ask me. It's utterly disgraceful. And it's utterly ridiculous. And that's really all I have to say about it. Because what more can you really say? Because this just tells you everything. And I hope, that this young lad, hopefully they get him something soon. Hopefully with the intention, because again, they had to bring it on social media for them to do, for something to happen. And the council might be shamed now tomorrow morning to do something. And that's the only way to really do it, is to shame them into doing something. And it shouldn't be the way. They should never have to go down this route. It should have been done with the click of a finger. It's a disgrace.